Hello, everybody. Welcome to another daily dose of gaming news and all that good stuff. And as always, I also publish on Rumble, Patreon, and anything else I usually go out on Twitter X. Um, I was a little bit off for a few days. Got some issues. There's no problems at all, but got to a lot of worked up in terms of being busy. Got my cell phone broken. I have to resolve all that stuff there, and basically, again, the schedule a little bit all over the place. And I've been didn't manage to do anything on the channel the last days or so. But yeah, here we are. Today it's Wednesday. I will try to publish a Death Stranding episode. I will try to manage better, even if I cannot do the gaming news stuff there. I will try to upload those Death Stranding episodes Monday, Wednesday, and Friday until we finish up there. I still didn't manage to record the final couple episodes of Death Stranding, but I will supposedly will have time until the before we reach that part there of the publishing phase of stuff. But yeah, I do apologize. I've been a little bit busy. I cannot. I didn't even come here to basically to YouTube to check on feedback or anything like that. But I will try my best throughout this month, which is going to be a little bit hectic to say the least. But yeah, basically that's it. Let's go to the news. Again, a lot of stuff happened. I will try to cover kind of the highlights of what I missed here. I try to go as best as I can, as far as back as the last episode that I did. But yeah, we got some rumors here regarding AM6 platform for AMD, which supposedly might feature more pins or more contacts, but may support AM5 coolers, which indicates, according to this rumor, that probably the size of the socket itself will be kind of the same to again by the fact that it can support or probably will support AM5 coolers. Again, similar like with what we had between the transfer between the AM4 to AM5. There were some special tools that we needed to acquire, if not mistaken. I don't remember very well, but again, a lot of the older coolers were able to adapt to this new socket with some adapters. I think it was not a perfect adoption, but again, it highlights the work that AMD is doing on trying to be as backward supportive of previous platforms there. Again, and the fact that is even though it says probably around 22% more pins, contact pins in the socket itself and maintaining the size of it, it means there's going to be a more densely populated socket there. Again, manufacturing node is going to be smaller, so more contacts will be able to be put in the same space, let's say, which is something interesting, and the fact that probably this will only happen when Zen 7 CPUs will come out, hopefully, and I think they are also waiting for the availability of DDR6 to be more mainline when it comes out, and also to a certain degree PCI Express 6 support also. I think they're waiting for that to put everything together when these technologies come out and they launch the Zen 7 architecture. So supposedly Zen 6 will be the last one to be supported on AM5 platform. Again, supposedly, again, this AM6 socket supposedly will be coming out around to 2028. So around, I don't know, give or take 3 years from now, which indicates that again Zen 6 probably only coming up, I don't know, next year ish or middle of next year, something like that, to have that longevity of around 2 years to the refreshes of Zen 6 CPUs and the refreshers there to come out until we have the new socket there, which is something interesting. Again, this is all rumored. Hopefully, in some sense, that the rumors are true, because again, it highlights the longevity of each platform that AMD is been doing, and that philosophy, I think, it does great, adds great value to anybody that wants to enter in the DIY market which is something that we didn't see with Intel. Every at least couple of CPUs generation, we have to change the motherboard and the system and all that jazz. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see how that goes. In terms of other news, I've been covering here this here and there, like the restriction stuff there on the specifically on the GPU side of things and the AI accelerators from United States to China. And my opinion and thoughts has always been again, it's very difficult to implement fully these kind of restrictions, given that again, big countries, there is some limitations of how you can control the exports and the such. And it seems again, because of the language of the article, it seems that they caught at least one exporter, let's say, on exporting GPUs that are off bounds of the restrictions imposed from the United States to China in terms of DIY GPUs or discrete GPUs. And they similarly arrested two people. Again, this is a lot of kind of it's going to enter in court, so we'll have to wait and see the disclose of how this will go. But supposedly in Los Angeles, they say they have cracked open a smuggling network that moved tens of millions of dollars worth of cutting edge graphics or GPUs to China despite strict export controls. The company itself, it seems it's ALX Solutions Inc., sprang to life weeks after Washington tightened chip export rules in late 2022. Again, for sure, it is not the only company that tried to maneuver around these restrictions. For sure, there was a lot of companies, import-export companies, and again, there are always methods to go around these restrictions. And supposedly, over the next 20 months, the firm booked supposedly 21 outbound shipments off the route and through Singapore and Malaysia. It's one of the ways of going about it. It's to export directly to another country that is not afflicted to that export. And then from that country, they will enter in China, where those restrictions are not applicable per se. And they declare the cargo as commodity video cards exempt from licensing. Um, Again, the here the case leans on the again BIS, which is Bureau of Industry and Security Regulations, that yanked China access chips. This official says the threshold roughly around the 600 gigabytes per second of interconnected bandwidth. Again, that's why the 4090s, 5090s, because they have more this limit. Which again, the limit is they determined that this is the limit that maps closely to hardware that can accelerate military AI. Again, I think for those purposes, China already took. I think even before these restrictions, they already took care of, given that it's a security matter. At least from the perspective of the Chinese government, they already took care as first this kind of military applications that these GPUs can have, given AI or other stuff there. So I think what we are seeing a little bit here is more, I don't know, other companies that are trying to import these unlocked GPUs or restricted GPUs for mainly companies, if not mistaken, for civil purposes, even though, again, everything can have, to a certain extent, kind of double use there, which is one of the reasons that usually they try to restrict this kind of hardware. But yeah, in one of the raids and operations after the surveillance raids, they found empty anti-static trays for roughly 1,000 premium GPUs with the street value. That's where they come from with the, again, I think they counted the anti-static trays probably with some stickers that might identify the GPUs themselves. And supposedly they estimate around 25 million plus slips headed for a fleeting artificial intelligence oh my god, artificial intelligence firm based in Shenzhen, which is in a province in China. One of the guys, Gan, which is a lawful U.S. resident, surrendered without incident. Yang, which is the other person, which the student visa expired 2020, was picked up at LAX holding a one-way ticket to Taipei. Again, which indicates that probably they knew they were going to get caught. That's why he was trying to fly away from United States. Again, the prosecutors, again, there's some public filings show that gang previously acted as a finance chief for a short-lived e-commerce outfit dissolved over unpaid taxes. The other guy co-owned an LA parcel forwarding shop that catered to overseas sneakers flippers. Again, neither of them has a tech pedigree. Bolstering prosecutors claim that ALX existed solely to move embargoed silicon into China's accelerator market. Again, um, it's one of those things. You can cut one of these operations, but I'm sure there's going to be dozens of them. They are still operating. Like anything else that can create a black market, there's always going to be an opportunity to try to circumvent this kind of restrictions. But yeah, it seemed they caught one of them, and I assuming this is in the low ballpark there in terms of what they managed to export to China. But yeah, it's bound to happen. Again, it's like to a certain degree like drug mules. They basically caught always the small fish to distract from the bigger fish. It's one of those things. In other news, we got Mastercard again. I missed a little bit the aftermath of this censorship, basically of the Steam stuff and other itch.io and other stuff that is happening on the internet censorship thing there. I just to cut up here with Mastercard denying censorship allegations, which we all know it's bullshit. They denied that being one of the parties behind the censorship, and of course, Steam, at least somebody representing Steam, they basically denied the claims for Mastercard. Again, and that Valve representative said that prior to the game's removal, Valve attempted to communicate with Mastercard directly in order to reach an understanding, but could not establish a direct line of communication with Mastercard. And basically, the gist is Mastercard did not communicate with Valve directly, despite our request to do so. Valve said in a statement, Mastercard communicated with payment processors and their acquiring banks. Payment processors communicated this with Valve, and we replied by outlining Steam policies since 2018 of attempting to distribute games that are legal for distribution. And he added also, of course, payment processors rejected this and especially cited Mastercard Rule 5.12.7 and risk to the Mastercard brand. Again, I don't know how, given that there are only like three major processor payments, at least global wise, how are you going to damage the brand itself because you're just processing payments? So it's one of those things. And also, one of those things here is that the excuses from Mastercard. A merchant must not submit to its acquirer, which is basically the rule here, and a customer must not submit to the interchange system any transaction that is illegal, which is not these games that were basically removed from Steam, or in the sole discretion of the corporation may damage the goodwill of the corporation or reflect negatively on the marks. Which again, it's a lot of corpo bullshit here. And again, the rule itself says that they can how do I say it? They can act in the sense of preventing sale of anything that it can be patently offensive or lacks serious artistic value. And then they give some examples, but they say by way of example, and again, the legalese is not limited to image of non-consensual sexual behavior, sexual exploitation of minor, mutilation of person, body part, bestiality. Again, uh, it's one of those things, or any, and the thing is, or any other material that the corporation deems unacceptable to sell in connection with a mark, again, with a client or that uses that payment processor. Again, it comes in line the legalese talk here, which is always they give the most egregious example, but they say it's not limited only to that kind of examples. That's why they can legally get their way out of it and censor stuff there. Again, I think there should be more. If there is something that it's illegal in, let's say, the region where these payments are processed, if it is illegal, I agree that again there should be some ways of negating the access of that content. But for sure, there in some regions when some stuff is illegal, other stuff in other regions that thing is not illegal. And again, we all know that there is always going to be a way of going around that, but at least from the legal protection of the company that is doing this, the selling, let's say Steam, in some games are prohibited in certain regions that are not in others. And again, if you access through an IP without using VPN to that product, again, you will have access to some things, and other will not, and others, sorry, will not have access to that. Kind of similar like libraries of Netflix, because of legal stuff there. You have a different access to a different, completely different library of content. Netflix, depending on the country or region where you are at. So it's one of those things that can be manipulated through other means. But yeah, the fact that they use this not limited to things they might consider or they say that is not good for the brand. Again, it's an excuse of censoring things on the internet where you need to pay for those services or products. But yeah, it's not good. We'll have to wait and see. We need to keep put the pressure on, and I don't know, pressure legislative bodies in your own countries to for these companies not be able to do these kind of things, or else we're going to all be screwed, because as censorship goes, it's always start off with the most egregious examples, and then they take that as a starting point to everything else. On other stuff, we got Bioshock 4. Supposedly is in trouble. Again, this is come from rumors and stuff, and inside information specifically from Jason Schreier. Again, the only thing that I'm going to um, make a remark here is the fact that these games that we've been seeing recently that are already in trouble, they have kind of a thing in common. I already mentioned this in other games that I saw that might be in trouble or something like that, or have some turmoil in the development cycle. Is the fact that in this example, Bioshock 4 has been in development for more than 10 years. Again, in these big companies, and the fact that the churning cycle of games, usually the estimate of the average is around 5 to 6 years. Again, you're almost doubling up the time of the development cycle, right about to the double of what we are used to seeing there. So the production costs will ramp up. And again, this comes around again with this, to a certain degree, with the sensitive readings and the revisions according to certain checklists and all that jazz will have an influence of the delaying of these projects, and the fact that cultural shifts to a certain point are faster to turn around than the development cycles of these games. A lot of companies now, for I don't know, a couple of years from now, they've been seeing things shift to a way that basically the game that they are making is not basically catering to the customer base that they are trying to launch to, and now they are a lot of these, some IPs and a lot of games are in trouble because again you they are being forced to come back and forth on trying to make changes on the games, where is going to delay the production cycle and the launch of the game itself. And basically they are in development hell, and it's not compensated to the companies to continue to fund these projects that are at least 10 days in development cycle. We got also again, Fable is one of those that it's been in development hell for a long time. We got some games that is still they had to change between development teams, between different studios. Also, we saw Beyond Good and Evil 2. We got some announcements from 2019. They were still in the early stages of development. We didn't heard anything from them. It's come from Ubisoft. Again, we're seeing a lot of stuff here. And the common theme seems to be that these projects are in danger because, again, 10 years in development and nothing to show for it. It's going to be a tricky and very difficult way to justify the production costs, and then the sales that you have to make a profit out of that product is going to be very, very hard to do. But yeah, it's one of those things that I've been seeing this trend of the fact that we got some, in this case, Bioshock, which is a very, very well known IP, and others that I mentioned also. Yeah, the common theme seems to be being stuck in development cycle of over the what we can consider normal between 5 to 6 years. Yeah, I think it's something that we'll be seeing some other games that at this point in time in development hell also that we were not being able to check their status in the production cycle there. But in good news, we got more stuff coming from Lost Soul aside. They got a trailer showing off the available weapons and kind of what they serve the purpose for. It's got four weapons from what I understand, and you can interchange between them. So different combat styles that you can engage with. Very interesting. The game will come out this month. I completely forgot when it comes. No, August 29th. So by the end of the month. So we're almost there. Again, interesting game. Very Devil May Cry in the vibes that we got here. But yeah, it seems something interesting coming from China Hero Project or Hero. No, yeah, China Hero Project game here. Very interesting. Hopefully, it does well and it's a good game. We got a little bit more. This is from last month. Hell is Us. They launched a gameplay trailer with diving into the dungeons, trying to explain what the gist is for the dungeons, what kind of gameplay mechanics will be there on those dungeons themselves. Again, I'm very interesting about this game because it's kind of a old school kind of exploration game, no mini maps. You have to pay attention to the cues and the clues that you're going to get while exploring the map, from puzzle hints to locations where stuff needs where you need to go in some places. You got reference points instead of just a map marker. um, the combat seems not to be the focus point of this game, even though it seems to be an enjoyable combat system from what I've been seeing. But hopefully this game is good. I'm very interested about this game. Yeah, we're missing a little bit more here and there of this game. Again, it will come out next month, so September 4th. So hopefully this is also a good one that we can spend some enjoyable time there. And then we got some news from Reanimal. Since the first teaser trailer of the announcement of the project, we didn't basically heard anything from them, and they released another teaser, kind of a trailer here, to set the mood. I think this is more to set the mood of what the game is about. Again, very creepy, very horror vibes here. Very interesting on what they're trying to do here. Hopefully, this game is good. And we got the launch window, which is first quarter of next year. So hopefully, by when we start reaching closer to the launch date, we will have a little bit more info about this game. But yeah, seems a pretty decent horror game there. But yeah, in terms of news, so I don't get too much extended for today's episode, I will try to catch up with more stuff that I might have missed. Um, I will go for some gaming deals here. We got Bionic Bay, again, recent launch, 30% off, pretty good, positive feedback. We got Children Morta, also pretty good, 80% off. I think this might be a good one if you like this kind of games. We got Cyberpunk, we got 65% on the base game and 53% on the Ultimate Edition with Phantom Liberty expansion. We got Ghostwire Tokyo, seems to be a pretty good, very positive feedback from everybody that played the game, and we got around 75% off on the base game. We got Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, to surprise for a lot of people, including me. It seems to be a pretty good game, pretty good Indiana Jones vibes here, and it's 20% off now. We got Jagged Alliance free, 60% off. We got Miasma Chronicles, the spiritual successor of Mutant Year Zero, kind of a thing here, even though it's a different universe and as such, is 60% off. We got Nobody Wants to Die, kind of detective noir kind of game here, first person. Seems pretty good. 60% off at this moment. We got Pacific Drive. The deluxe edition is still on sale for 50% off. We got Prey. Again, I do recommend this game, at least the base game. I did a gaming series on this one. You can check out the first couple episodes to have an idea what this game is about, but I do recommend it, and it's 80% off at this moment. We got System Shock Remake. You can try it out with the demo here, and it's 63% off at this moment. We got Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. Again, it's one of those that it's a must-play RPG. 80% off on the complete edition, which is the way to go. I do recommend, as always, the first playthrough to be a vanilla mode. Again, you can put some mods, visual mods here and there, but then the second and subsequent playthroughs can be done with experimenting with gameplay mods, which there is plenty of those. And then lastly, we got Wolfenstein. Again, I do recommend at least the, where is it, the New Order, which I played myself and did the gaming series out of it. And I think the Old Blood, which is the prequel, and Colossus, which is a sequel to the New Order, are the better ones. Wolfenstein Youngblood has a mixed result. Again, it's not Blazkowicz as the main characters, is the daughters from them. So I think it doesn't have like a very good feedback in the game. It's not at the same level of the other free games there. But the bundle itself is 80% off, so pretty cheap. And again, a decent trilogy at least on these free games, from my knowledge. So yeah, I will leave it with that. With that said, I'll wrap up here with the plug my Patreon as usual, as extra support. The extra support is more in line for me to be able to get around a better storage solution, so I can have backups of stuff that I do for my clients, and of course some extra space for the videos that I do for the channel. And with all that said, I hope you have a full day. Again, I do apologize having been a few days off. Again, schedule constraints, and I got an issue with my cell phone. I had to buy a new one, so got all that worries and tried to transfer everything for the new cell phone. All of those weird things that happen on the summer. It's kind of the silly season. But yeah, I will try to keep up a proper schedule. But again, I cannot promise anything because August seems to be a very busy month for me, at least this year. But yeah, hope you have a full day, and I'll see you in the next one. So until then, Kunamy Master out.